Good morning, everyone. Welcome along. Welcome to Steel Horse Station. It is Friday morning, the 10th of March, where I am. But welcome to you wherever you are around the world. I know we get lots of viewers from the UK and Europe and North America. So welcome along. I can see we've got a few people in. G'day, John. Hope you are continuing to mend and that the drugs are taking the positive effects now. And that you're feeling a little bit wider awake than you were earlier in the week. I was stunned, I guess is the right phrase, a few minutes ago when I tried to watch Mr. Sealy P's latest contribution over my cereal to find that his channel has been targeted by miscreants is the only word I can think of that's publishable and isn't available at the minute. So I think the place to start is just to, I don't know him personally, but he is a significant figure in my Farm Sim journey. And so my thoughts are definitely with him as he tries to figure that out. I can only imagine how stressful and challenging that is. This is his job, and to be taken off the air like that would be very concerning and confronting, I've no doubt, particularly for someone with such a nice get along with everyone demeanor. So hopefully he and those that are close to him can get that sorted out pretty quickly. It's a shocking state of affairs. Anyway, let's head across to the Oaks and see where we're up to. I have just started the harvest. Is it doing over there? That is very bizarre. Why is it turned around and coming back towards us? Never mind. There's a truck hiding somewhere. Yes, there it is. Who should also be on there. So in terms of, I'm just catching myself up, and where are we at? Right, few things. So the contract, which I was just showing, we're about 15% into that. So that started on field 82. Over here, in order to make gathering grass and access and everything much easier, we got the chainsaw out and created ourselves a little access track. So that made it a lot easier to gather the grass. You'll notice a change in the fields, in the yard. So I went ahead. G'day, Farm Sim Brisco. I went ahead and grabbed this shed with the silo in it so that we had somewhere to put the oats that we took off our own field. So that came to the conclusion that fitted in quite nicely up there, and that meant I got rid of the hangar or the Quonset shed that was here and got an old dilapidated shed that went in the back, and I changed out the silage bunkers because I can't easily show you, but you might remember that we had three. In the first one here, there was about 50,000 litres of silage sort of in the back corner, and I thought it was because we still had the cover in the second one. I emptied the second one down to about almost the same level, not exactly the same, about 60,000, and ended up with a pile in the back right hand corner exactly the same as this, that no manner of vehicle would allow me to upgrade, so to remove. So I decided that I was tired of the silage bunkers and that they must be a problem. So before I went too much further, because at that stage we had, I had already put 100,000 litres of chaff in this one. So I took them out and replaced with these two that are the oaks modded ones. Oh, sorry, the ones included with the oaks. I don't believe they were specially modded by Farm Sim Brisco. They're just included on the map. And I went ahead and took picked up all the grass that was on the field over there, field 76, and I popped it in here. Now, an interesting thing I observed. I seem to have a bit of a knack for it at the moment. So I put almost 5 trailers of forage in here. 480,000 litres. Anyone want to hazard a guess now that it's been compacted and compressed how much silage we got? I'll give you a minute. I'll give you a clue. It's not 480,000. So I'll wait for a second. There are a few people there that might want to make a guess. Meanwhile, the harvester is churning away on field 82, and the truck and trailer is back and forwards. The challenge that I didn't think about when we took the contract is, whilst field 82 is close, and I also took the contract on 85, the delivery point is up here. So diametrically opposed on the map. So it's a long haul with all of the grain, and there'll be a few loads. So that's how it goes. Can't complain about that. I also took 85 because it was next door, and it's barley, I think. No, it's not barley. We're doing barley at the minute. 85 is oats. So we'll see how we go with those. You can see our little truck's almost back. So John has had a guess. I've waited an amount of time for people that have got access to a keyboard or an input device. So no, John, you overcooked it. Oops, fermenting silage. Oh, it's not going to tell me at all there. I've got to go into this, and you can see that it's 216,000. So well less than half. So I observed an interesting little thing, and I think I am narrowing down. Thanks, Farm Sim Brisco, much appreciated. The autodrive course works a treat. It took it up there. The only thing was, with the configuration of truck and trailer that I had, it got caught on the fence post out the front getting out, but I sorted that out, and it should be able to deliver fine. So I was using this tractor, this Polaris scraper, and the Courseplay bunker function to do the compacting in this bunker. And as I said, I started with 480,000 litres of chaff, and we've ended up with 216,000 litres of silage. What I observed, and I caught it just near the end, because while this was happening, I was collecting in the field and wasn't paying much attention. With the new bunkers, all seemed to be going fine. I wasn't expecting any particular issue. When I got the harvest going, by the time I'd collected all the grass, I was able to observe. I didn't start, because I'm using the same tractor, I put all of the chaff in before I started compacting it. So that's how I knew I had 480 odd thousand. When I started, it seemed to be going fine. I watched it for a little bit. I was losing a little bit, it appeared, as it sort of went through the compaction process. So I left it be and went over to work on the harvest. And as I was checking back in every now and again, that's when I noticed the volume was dropping. And what really caught my eye was I let it get close to the end. And it got stuck at about 95 or 96% compacted. I thought, oh gee, it's almost there. I'll just let it finish. I'll see if it can get to zero. And what happened, it basically at 95% compacted went from 300,000 down to 220,000 fairly quickly without any change in the compaction level. So it's as though under course play using this blade, the process of compaction just eats the chaff, and if it for whatever reason, whether it's the weight of the tractor or whatever, it can't achieve a stable pile that gets to 100% compacted, it just keeps taking silage out. It keeps taking chaff out. So because as soon as I saw that and I got down to the level it did, I stopped it, and it was at 96%. I manually compacted the last 4% and didn't lose any additional. So something very weird happening, but certainly sufficient that I wouldn't be jumping out to trust. G'day Jody, welcome along, great to see you. I wouldn't be jumping out to trust course play unsupervised. So the next test we'll do on the next bunker we fill is I will compact it manually and see what happens. My day is going okay so far. Everything's fine here. I was just really saddened to see the troubles that Mr. Sealy P is having with YouTube. It was very disconcerting. I normally watch his mod review or one of his flicks while I have a bowl of cereal in the morning. It's just, I find it a really pleasant way to start the day, much nicer than the I might as well do some hay while we're chatting. Much nicer way to start the day than the breakfast news programs. And when I went to his page, I couldn't get to it, so it was a bit disappointing. Now, where are we at here? We want to turn one of those on. So that was a bit of a downer. Thanks, Farm Sim Brisco. I think the silo shed fits in really well. I'm really pleased with how that came up. And the 2 bunker silos will do fine. And I think where we'll get to is... what is my steering wheel misbehaving a little bit? That's a bit better. I think where we'll get to in the future is we'll put an even bigger, like a double size pit further down the other end of the yard. G'day Farmer Ed, welcome along. Great to see you. Hope all is well with you, and there's a couple of others have popped in, and we've got the tones on. You can turn that off. I'm at 73%. So my request to people is, if you're happening to use course play for your bunker work, do some tests and pay particular attention to the amount of chaff you start with and the amount you end up with when you cover it. I'd be curious to know whether what I'm observing is a bug or some quirk of the combination of map, clamp, tractor, and leveler that I'm using. And not being super skilled in course play for bunkers, you know, there was always the chance that I was doing something wrong, but I can't figure out what else I could have done. So that's where we're at. The plan here is to try and progress the contracts, get the while we've still got some, oops, I can put the time up a little bit now that we're running. While we've still got a little bit of day left, get some of the straw off this field, and then we'll roll forward. I don't expect to finish those contracts on this game day. We'll roll forward, and of course in the next day our field next door should become ripe as well. Come on, hop out. You'll notice I still haven't managed to download the mod which allows me to or automatically slows the tractor down. No animation on the no, it doesn't. No, this one doesn't roll. I don't know why. I haven't asked Mark about that. It didn't strike me as a... You do notice it every now and again, particularly if you look at it from that way, but I keep getting distracted by the musical tones of the loading level. And it was nice to have something that was branded a bit different to the regular ones in game. One thing's for certain, we're going to end up with a heap of straw. Right, so there we go. Minute intro of sorts, catching you up on my experiences. Yep, everything works underneath. It's just the twine section, and it may be to do with the fact that this baler takes net wrap, so maybe that in some way affects the animation. Who knows? Who knows? Things are sent to confuse and baffle me. And we'll go over and I can see that the levels haven't changed on field 82, so that suggests to me that the harvest has not recommenced properly. So we might pop over there. Okay. So the truck waiting out in the fields, and the harvester is down there waiting for a harvest. I don't know what you're doing there, Chief. I did actually observe that there's a couple of little quirks with autodrive. I think autodrive is struggling because of this combination of the size of the field and objects around it. If the waypoint is not actually on the field, so it's off beside it like it is, it's struggling with the call. So, because if the vehicle's in the field, which is how I was doing it for the first few collections and trip, it was working, I'll say fine. It was working pretty well, except that doing the headlands, autodrive couldn't, or autodrive / courseplay couldn't resolve a course without the truck driving through the crop, which was a bit annoying. Yeah, I saw that there was quite a lot of snow in the UK. There's nothing left in there. Okay, he's off. We'll see where he goes. You can just sit there. We'll put you back on wait. What strikes me as odd is why is he cutting in that direction? Where's the harvester? I not got. Must have park set on the harvester. I can't jump into it. Autumn is definitely on its way here. The weather's still fine. Yeah, so let's just control the. How do I unset park? I can't remember. I'll look it up in a minute. Is your actual... Oh, the up and downs are in that direction. That's what I didn't expect. Farm Sim Brisco, you've caught the bug and you've forced yourself to do another one. Is it a similar area, Farm Sim, or are you tackling a new challenge? Well, that explains that. That's why he was going in that direction. Now he's cutting in, which is what you would expect. So, what? Well, that's not what I expect. Get an awful long way out of whack there. It's got to be the hardest way to turn that corner I've ever seen. Oh, come on, this is just painful. $15 miles north. Cool. I've been messing about with animal pastures in the background, so I'm keen to create a different type of animal pasture. I don't know if it's possible or achievable from the tools that are available with the game at the moment, but I'm just working on it. So what I want the ability to do is to get more, give the player more ability. It'll probably be PC only in the end in all likelihood, but we'll see where it goes. The player more ability to customize animal fields so that they're not just square so that you could, you know, argument's sake, take any irregular shaped field and put animals in it, and without, so you need a different way of putting down animals, and that's what I'm messing with. So we'll just see how that goes. I don't know if it will come to anything. It might take a little while, but that's what I'm playing with. I kind of miss that fact that, you know, if you drive through the bush here, you pass through, particularly on the eastern seaboard, plenty of... Where are you going? You really are finding that hard to turn around. Maybe I should have done an extra headland. It's gotten you quite upset. In the end, that wasn't a bad turn, but not the way I expected it. If you drive around Australia, what you'll find is lots of small to medium holdings, and typically paddocks with animals in them. You know, we'll have a little dam somewhere in the paddock. They might have a tree, and the animals tend to cluster around those things, so creating the ability to do that in game, you know, give the player some tools to sort of lay it out so that it looks the way they want, is kind of what I'm going for. I'm just trying to figure out how to use what I've learned about Giant's Editor and constructions and animal pastures and things to make the assets that are required. Okay, that's looking like it's a little bit better, so we might continue with our baling. So is there a backstory with this map, Farm Sim Brisco, or is it just another labour of love in an area that you're really familiar with? I'm not sure that I've got the patience for doing a map. Well, there you go. Hey, you're aiming for the new one potentially to make it available for giants on Mod Hub. Okay, so the harvester filled up. Let's see, is the truck moving? The truck is moving. It is turning around. It has left the fields. From what I understand, that's potentially quite a lot more work for you to navigate the vagaries and checks that Giants has in place to make it available for console players. So I wish you well with it. If there is anything I can do to be of assistance, don't hesitate to ask. I'd be happy to help out in any way that I was able. I saw during the week that there is now a location and ticket booking opportunity for FarmCon. So, don't know if anybody that watches the channel will be going to FarmCon. I can't recall off the top of my head what the dates were. I think it was towards the end of July. But I may be mistaken. Somebody might in chat might know. At this point for me, FarmCon's... G'day Mark Haythorne, mate. FarmCon's a curiosity. I'm interested in the people that go to FarmCon. There's lots of folks that it'd be kind of cool to meet that I only see their content, but the actual FarmCon event itself, not so interested in. I guess over the years I spent too much time in conference centres listening to lectures. We'll see. It's also a serious undertaking to commit to get into anything like that from this side of the world. How are you today, Mr. Haythorne, mate? Has it been a good week for you? You missed our little competition at the start of the stream. So I got all the grass off field 76 and I put it in the bunker and compressed it. Delivered 480 odd thousand litres of grass. How much silage do you reckon we're making? I'll give you a tip, it's not 480,000. We need to go and check that the truck actually managed to unload the harvester successfully on its own. Yeah, nice try. I wish. Now just delete the million and you're pretty close. 216,000 litres of silage is now under the cover. So lost more than half of it. Now I know I delivered 480,000 and I've explained already, but my working theory is that there's some issue with the combination of equipment and bunkers we're using and courseplay. Leave that there for a tick. Oh, you'll notice quickly we now have a path into that pasture. We have some different bunkers and we have a silo in the back of the shed. So we've done a little bit of reconfiguration. But yeah, that is hasn't done much compacting yet. 5%. Fermenting yet. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Andrew Perrin. So and this is a different clamp. My suspicion and my observation was that it's got something to do with courseplay, because I did all the compaction, or 96% of the compaction using courseplay. When with that blade on, it levels it back into the rear here. It couldn't get it to 100%. It would get it up to 100%. It would drive forward and then it'd be back at 96. And the only thing that would happen, and I was off doing other things, is that it would keep going and reduce the volume. So there's something going on that's not kosher. So the next time when we do the next bunker, I will compact it manually and see what happens. But my tip would be, in the meantime, if you're using the compaction, yeah, so he's driving through the field again. I've got no idea why that's happening. If I go to the truck, oops. I'm sure I've got the settings correct. This and unload fill level. Field exit is the default field exit. Restrict pathfinder to field is no. Restrict unloader to field. Avoid the fruit, yes. Park in the field, yes. So I don't know why he was driving in the crop. It's a very weird thing, Mark. So I don't know what the cause of it is. But to be honest, I don't know how it can be anything other than horseplay, because I can't see how any of the pieces of equipment actually destroy the forage that's placed. So it's got me a bit flummoxed, to be honest. Okay, well, this guy seems to be going reasonably well now. It is a big field for a little harvester, but we'll keep chipping away. Well, they're the things to do now. I mean, I've changed the bunkers and observed the same behavior. And there's nothing clever in the bunker XML. I mean, you know, the XML for a bunker silo really is pretty basic. The only other thing that could be going on is if the mask... Yeah, but the blade... Well, so the blade... Let's have a look. I don't believe I'm using a fancy... That's the one I've got. I didn't make a conscious decision whether it was... Where are we here? Levelers. Yeah, so it's a base game. Base game blade. Not using any of the mods. Do I have a save game backup before I did the compaction? Bear with me for a second, folks. Oh, I can't easily check while we're live because I will need to. I can't remember the passage of time particularly well, but it'll be marginal. I wasn't no worries. I will have a look at it. What I can tell you is I've probably got where are we here? The oaks. Yeah, there's 7 gig of mods on this map. So sending them to you is a bit problematic. I will say I'm not having any other issues. the map's going a treat. I'm loving it. And we're getting plenty of bales off here. We've almost got all the straw picked up. The weird thing, well, for me, the interesting part of it is trying to figure out how to get to the bottom of it. So the problem-solving angle is the bit that's entertaining me at the minute. I can live, you know, I'll get to the bottom one way or another of losing a couple of 100,000 litres of silage. It's not something the Putneys like, but equally, it's kind of a spoilage ratio that we'll live with for the moment while we sort things out. But we'll get this field baled up and then we'll roll forward into the next day. Yeah, no, that'd be great, Mark. That'd be much appreciated. It's definitely an odd one. It's up there with that little auto drive quirk of not being able to unload backing over the sell points. That one's a curiosity as well, and that one very much looks like it's because the sensors that auto drive uses set higher when the vehicle's going backwards than if they're going forwards, probably because it uses some reference point off the trailer, which tends to be higher. Although interestingly, it occurs when you're backing the truck with no trailer on as well, so it's not just a trailer issue. But these are fun curiosities that we mess with. Almost there. There's 85%. I really should put that mod in that enables me to just keep going. What are we up to? 95. That's, guess this short one might do it. Drive out, put the bale. Oh, bugger, I was trying to drop the bale out of the middle. Okay. Our harvester is full again. Yes. Yeah, I know the mod. Mark Thor's previously given me the link to it. I've just keep getting distracted with other things that I'm thinking about and forget to download it, and then I get into this situation and I go, oh, yeah, I should have done that. The last time I remembered was when I was filming Griffin the other day. Because on Silver Run I've got a continuous square baler, so it doesn't come up there. We must be getting close to what's the announced date? Is it 2 weeks away for the first batch in the season's pass, the baler pack, or the Gavile pack? No worries, Mark. Have a good one. We might have a look at the contracts list in a minute and see if we can get our the rest of our Putney kids doing some work. We could do with some more cash if we're going to afford tractor. Come on, 100%. This is going to be the last bale on this field, I think. Yeah, we're not going to get another one off here. We'll pick that lot up. That out of the way. Right. A little bit over there, but I'm not going to chase the little bits over the field. Five o'clock in July. We've still got a little bit of daylight. So let us see here. We might just park you at the entrance because what's happening over there? Truck's still sitting on the field by the looks. It is. Let's have a look at contracts. What have we got in the list? 2 harvest contracts we've got. There are a few baling contracts running around. Very large wheat contract. And we just don't have the equipment to tackle the big ones. A little bit of liming. We could potentially do one of the liming contracts, I suppose. How much lime does it think it needs in field 18? 52,000 litres of lime. That's a lot of lime. That's 26 bags. And our auger wagon takes 11, so that's 5 trailers of it. That might be a bit tough. Ploughing contracts. How big's field 20? 19, 20. That's a bit of a funny shape. We could send a medium tractor up to field 20 with the smaller plough on it and just chip away at that one. Let's have a look. Send this guy up. Maybe the 5465, which needs some maintenance while we think of it. That's why he's sitting here. Actually, that field needs to be, the grass field needs to be cut, doesn't it? Maybe we should just cut our grass field and make some more silage. We can do our own experiment in the bunker silo. Might be the trick. Maybe that's the idea. Okay, repair. while I'm thinking of it and spending money, let's have a look what's in the sale. So, no. 100 and, oh, that's only a little one. To get the bigger engine, which is the minimum we really want, is 80,000. So we don't want to spend 80,000. We want to go the next tier up from that. And that's only a little baler. Okay. So I think what we might do is cut that grass. We'll do it in the next game day because there's no need to push on into the evening. Progression helps us in other ways, introduces new options for things. Let's just go and check where we're up to over here. You must be just about ready to go and empty, surely. Just looking at the fill levels on that truck and trailer. Yeah, there's lots of speculation as to what's going on. Oh, okay, so he's at 83%, just under the clip level I've got set. So we'll wait here. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier, Farm Sim Brisco, so I don't know any of the facts of the situation, but just can't imagine what goes in through the minds of some people, why they even feel the need to. You take someone that goes out of his way to try and make everybody comfortable and feel good, and you attack them like that. Yeah, I find myself asking that sort of question a lot, Farm Sim Brisco, these days. Why would people do anything? Yeah, from what I can see, they've taken the feed down completely. So about the only good thing is that because he has 96 odd thousand subscribers and he's been around for years, I would imagine that he's getting a reasonable amount of help from YouTube to get it sorted. It's the whole cybersecurity thing's complicated. Often these, so back in a past life, I had some visibility. Well, I've worked inside financial institutions, so hacking's not new, and trying to guess what goes on inside the minds of people that do that is fraught. Typically that you can categorize the sorts of people. There's people that are just doing it for sport, just because of the technical challenge, you know, I can, and then you've got organized crime and and state actors as sort of two other major groups. And organised crime start out with building their skills and perfecting their techniques on easy targets before they go after the ones that they think will make them money, so that they don't screw up the big paydays. So there are people out there that make an awful lot of money from YouTube. I'm not suggesting Mr. Sealy P was one, but he's high enough profile that it could have been an interesting test of something without the objective to make money. It just annoys me. What are you doing? Just go and unload him, you muppy. I'll drive you down there. We know he's almost ready. There we go. He's full now. He's stopped even. That front bit is full. There we go. It's 10 years since I had any first-hand involvement at a big institution level, and you know, we were seeing thousands of attempts every day. So it just gives you an idea of how much activity is circulating. Right, now where are you going now? I don't know why you do that, Luke. You did that the other day too. There's something about the course resolution there that's a bit strange. And now you're off to the sell point. So we'll just let you go to the sell point. Meanwhile, we will move tractor so that we're ready to now that we've got big wheels on here, let's go and get the mower. Probably can't get it out of there, can I? With the big tires on. Just make it. Not terribly practical, these big tires. Send you. And then we'll take the little one off the baler, which I think is big enough to run the... This is how we do it. We'll go through the hedge so we don't run over the corn. I've probably got to mark a field to cut that too. I don't think we've done that. I want this one down here, don't I? That one. Rightio. So we'll get ourselves set to cut. I'm just waiting for the truck to get up to the sell point so that he can empty out, and then we can roll over the day. August looks like being a long day because we've got these contracts and our own field to do. Obviously not all of which will get completed in the rest of the stream, but progress a bit of it. Map time. Let's have a look here. It's a screen that I can't remember looking at. Where is it? For a long time. Time played 49:14. So getting there. I don't look at these stats very much. We seem to be logging a few kilometres and chewing through a bit of diesel. So. Yeah, it is. Well, I think my overall Farm Sim game time is up in the FS22s somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 hours. Unfold you. Let's have a look here. If we have a look at this, and we need to get out of the tractor. Unless I run around and record it in the tractor. Let's just draw it. So we want that guy. Draw a custom field. So let's start you off about there and go up to there, across to there, down to there. I suspect you logged up a lot of hours checking what you were doing in the editor. Given the process of loading the map, just checking, so you would have logged up lots and lots of minutes switching backwards and forwards. So let's have a look. And this is 68B, isn't it? Rename. F68B. Oops, let's do a B. Nah, little b looks better. Right. Get out of there. Oh, no, we don't. We want to 68B. Let's edit and let's just see how we did. That's close enough, I think. I'm not worried about that little grass strip down the edge. I didn't do too bad on that edge. Could probably move it back a little bit. Advanced. And move you out. It's actually all right there. but we'll move it out to capture. I forgot to click. You're selected. Come on. We come. That'll do. Right. So you're set to go next time. We'll turn you off. There's the truck. You're waiting for a pickup. And the truck is still quite a long way from the sell point. Where is he? There he is. Oh, not too far. We'll follow him through the village. We haven't been up to this part of the map. Nice little farm situation up here. Actually, it'll be a good test whether those changes I did to the auto drive coursework. Be nice to get one of those big sheds on our property. We might have to save up for one of those in the future. I do love all the detail and time and attention you must have put into just making things like that look the way they do. Oh, get out. So the sell point's just up here. You can see it over there in the distance. Some slow corners. He wore out the mouses. One of the things I really like is the amount of effort you've gone to with trees to make it look like a random countryside. I just think you've done that really well. When I compare it to so many maps that you sort of get in and they're all cookie cutters. Well, that's very good to know, Mark. They need their Reuters feed. How else would Lloyd's keep the register up to date? Here we are, we're at the sell point. And because it's a drive-through, it works a treat. In we go. Make the turn. Look, no hands. TV video. Oh, gosh, it's moved on. There we go. He gets to the sell point and sells as though he's been doing it all his life. Or loads. From memory, this is the second full load, and I think we need 4 more to finish this contract. So there's quite a bit of work remaining. Right, so we've done a third. So we need 4 more of those. Now, I just want to make sure he can get out the gate here, because I did change it. That end of that brick fence is just a bit of a trap for young players. Is he going to go too close to it? Lovely. This part of the map's, well, everywhere you go is beautiful, but it's just, you know, everywhere you look, looks like it belongs here. I did wonder, why is there such a big apparent elevation drop off the edge there? From a distance, you don't notice it, but it just looked a bit strange. I really like this little village up here that we drive through, with the pond with the lilies, and we can come up a little bit past the farm here. Yes. Yeah, this bit here just looks really nice. And I'm having played now a little in Giants Editor, I have a newfound appreciation of how much work goes into making an area like that look like that. It's just extraordinary. So anyway, what we will do, because he can continue, is we'll head back to the house and we can roll over the day. No, if I did it the quick way, that'd be smarter. There we go. Ah, okay. I understand that. Well, that's the thing, Farm Sim. You know, I'm not even beginning to scratch the surface of what you've tried, what you've achieved. But I can blow like those gates. Just doing the gates to the new yard, before I knew what I was doing, I lost 2 hours in that. Just getting that the way I wanted it to look and make it work. It was just ridiculous. All I did was copy a couple of gates and put them at the entrance to a yard and do a little bit of prettying up. Rightio, so we're in August. We can do this in just a second. You're sitting over there. Do I need to start you again? Or I can never remember if I stay in. Yeah, you've still got to work, so that's fine. And the truck should still be on its way back somewhere, behaving itself. There he is. So he'll eventually get back and unload. So we might proceed with our little exercise here, in which case we want to do it this way. 8.6, let's do 2 headlands. Start work on the headland, yeah, that's fine. I was going to experiment. Let's skip a row. I think I've got simple inspector. And I think I've got them so they turn off after a few. Well, at least that's the intention, was that they turned off after a few. I originally had it so that they turn off every time I leave a vehicle. Rows per land, that's fine. Rows. Yeah, let's just try one skipped road, no bypass. Generate the course. What are you doing there? Why did you generate a course that, oh, because you've generated something that's different to what I want. Why have you generated a course that's bigger than the field? $68B is the field I want. Yeah, open, close the course generator. Generate the course. Why is that happening? Why are you generating a course that's outside the field? Let's not skip rows. That's annoying. Okay. Let's start work on the center. Don't want to do that. Or actually, what I will do, I don't know why Courseplay won't do what I asked it to do on this occasion. That'll do. We shall do it ourselves. Shouldn't take too long. You coming? Come on, champ. You know you want to. Try doing a straighter line. Like to have spent another month on the map. Custom animal pens. I understand that perfectly, Farm Sim Brisco. That's why I think it's extraordinary what you achieved before you felt like you wanted someone else's validation for what you were doing. So oh goodness, it might be a little while before we can afford cows. We're going to do this the hard way at the present, just because this won't take too long. Looks like there's a reasonable amount of grass on here though, so we might be able to pick it up and do a test. Oops, left a bit. Never mind, we'll pick that up. A test in that other bunker. I didn't stop and look to see how much fermenting we had achieved. What part of the map is Kartik set up in? I must admit I've seen him advertising his stuff. I've never watched any of his material. Right. Oh, the main one over here. Where am I looking? Yes, over there. The grass texture looks like Velcro. Huh. Curious. Curious. Oops, now we've got a bit of carpet that won't regrow. Not too many loops on here though. Oh, we've got up to 34% done, so it looks like the harvester might be running again. The truck may have got back and emptied him off all on his own. Finished doing the grass, we'll have another check in the shop and see if we got any new equipment when we rolled the day over. Probably 3 more laps should do it. Yes, and the more complex the mod, and because I'm worried about introducing errors, I like to zip everything up again before I test it out so that I don't inadvertently compound my lack of skill. So by the time you do all that, you end up with long convoluted process. Speaking of making mods, a Farm Sim XML question. So if I want to facilities to share their storage, does it matter which one I set that is extension flag to true in? And if I have them both set to true, does that make a difference? Do you know, Mark? So does the game logic have a concept of a primary and an extension, or is it just add together anything that's in range that's got the is extension equals true flag set? Right. I hadn't noticed that on Griffin, because I can the manure storage overlaps the seed factory. And Scooter sent me a fix. We'll go back to Newlands next Tuesday. Scooter sent me a fix for the animal mod, no, the Meatworks, that fixes the salt trigger that we were having trouble with last week. Okay, so it's okay, right, outputs, gotcha. I understand. I can't think of a situation on any of the maps I've got going where that would be a case. Yep. Yeah, they're far enough. The silos on Griffin are far enough away that that's not a problem. And the silos on Silver are not near anything that's of concern. I did have a quick look at, I can't remember the name of it, the map you pointed me at earlier in the week, Mark. It does look quite nice, the German one. I just can't remember the name of it. I'm sure you will remember it. I'm not sure I'm up for another 4x map right at the minute. This one is enough work. Landesum, yes, thank you. Oh, I understand. No, I understand that completely. We might still do a map tour on it, just not next week. I want to get back to Newlands and bump that along. So it might be 2 weeks time. It's quite interesting watching the maps coming out on the Mod Hub at the moment. There's a real what I call divergence between quality and unfinished. You know, so there's some folks that are clearly desperate to get their whatever they're doing out and in view, and then there's folks that have clearly spent 18, like Farm Sim Brisco did, you know, ages and ages, and have finally come out with a terrific product. And one of the effects of that is it makes the unfinished stuff really look unfinished when you put it alongside. And some people don't seem to mind the unfinished. They can get in and, you know, make it fit the scenario or the story. I would imagine a bit of that might be familiarity with the feel of the place, because it feels like home or something similar. My first impression of Landesum was it is a good suggestion. I'm just conscious of how much time I've got at the minute. Yeah, I got that impression very much when I looked at the video you shot driving around. It's like, oh wow, I recognize that part. Oh, that's where we are, you know. It's like, that was a little bit surreal. You know, I kept waiting to, oh, you'll drive around the corner, I wonder if it'll look like this, and then it did. So I've almost got this grass cut. We will need to row it up so we can collect it. We can probably row it with the 5465, I think, and just use a regular AI That, did I have any more down there? I can't remember. Let's just run back down. I was sleep driving the last row. Well, that'd be really nice. Looks forward to it. Next time you do it, if you want me to have a look at the video and have a crack at tidying up the audio, I'm happy to do that also. Run a couple of filters over that audio and see if we can get rid of the wind noise. Rightio, that will do that. Oh, that sounds sophisticated. Yeah, driving around there in the snow would not be fun. I reckon those ditches would cause havoc. I think I left enough room for the little one to get through. I like how that shed fitted in. That was a good suggestion. I think, John, that was the one you picked. I parked at the wrong corner. That's how much it's settled in. I am not familiar with that one. I use DaVinci Resolve and I've found it to be absolutely fabulous for what I do. Thank Joss for the sponge. Just got to get those wheels a bit shiny. No point having chromies if they look like they've been in the mud. Bit of scrub. This probably looks wonderful on a 55-inch TV, John. Yeah, I reckon that's come up really well. But it looks like it's been there a long time. Where did the other? There he comes. Yes, I vividly remember my first session and thinking, I have no idea what is going on here and why am I... Oh, that's why. Fold you up. Let's go and get the where's the windrower? Is over. Where have I left the windrower? Right there beside me. Yeah, what I started to do, which really helped, was my learning process was I just got a video out. So some advice I got from FSG was just start. You could spend years getting lost in trying to make it. Just put one out and then have a plan, and that worked well into my whole background on continuous improvement. And so then I set about trying to have a feature or a capability from the editor that I learned and potentially used in each video. In some weeks that was more successful, or some days that was more successful than the others. I was quite surprised actually the other day. So YouTube's always changing stuff. Oops, that's not good for the corn. And I logged on to see that now it actually, under your handle, gives you a count not only of subscribers but the number of videos that you've got posted. And much to my surprise, I'm up over 150. So it's like I knew I'd spent a bit of time doing it, but that strikes me, given I'd never done a single video for any purpose before. The most I'd got, you know, I've still got several hours of footage of my daughter's gymnastics, which now that I have some skills, I should probably get off VHS and put properly onto something for posterity for her. She was rather a talented gymnast in her heyday. Yep, sure is. Okay, now what I want to do is hope that I was straight enough coming down there. Let's come back, come back, come back, come back. See what sort of... That line doesn't look right, but never mind. Does not look too hard. What's happening over here? Meanwhile, back at the harvest. Looks like we have a truck plant parked. What are they doing? He's unloading all on his own some. How about that? Ah, very good. They even managed to pull out of the crop to load the truck. The truck's going to back up out of the way. See, when it works properly, it's a joy to watch. How's the truck going for fullness? The truck's full. And we are making progress through the field. The rows are getting shorter. Well, that's good. I don't know if any of you have seen it. It was really neat to watch the harvester. I had the harvester on course play on the Twilight Field on Griffin the other day, and with the big long header, it cut the corner properly to avoid leaving anything and to enable it to turn. It was really quite clever. Yes, it's very easy to lose hours in the editor, I've discovered. Now, oh, that field needs to be cut as well while we're at it. We should do that. Well, we might as well get all the grass sorted. Probably shouldn't have washed the... Probably shouldn't have washed the mowers. Exactly, John Senior. I could have used course play for this one, but we'll zip round and get it done. There's a little bit of a scar there where there's no... I was watching the... I'd not seen it before. Mr. Silly P did a piece on the Sintrack. Yeah, that's an interesting... I guess what that says is a little bit about people's own story and their desire to personalize. It's a bit like, you know, lots of people spend a lot of money buying a new house, and then the first thing they get into do when they get into it is they modify it. It's a bit about making it your own and making it fit the story that, you know, you want, the narrative of your life or the narrative of your game. So I know I watched a little bit of Josh from Gaming Joy stuff, and he has a really good way of putting it. He's kind of got a scenario where, or a challenge, where the idea is to play as the map maker intended, rather than change the map. And that's I thought was a really good way of putting it. Sometimes it's really hard to know what the map maker intends, and so you end up customizing because you've built your own story, whereas on other maps the map makers put a significant amount of time into the backstory, and it's straightforward to pick up, you know, what was intended. You know, here my approach was very much, because I guess I fall into the category of, you know, changing it a little bit. I've tried to keep the changes very simple, but when I did my first look at the map, I saw that rundown yard next to the house where the Putneys are based, and it was kind of like, oh, you know, I can just imagine in this sort of district that a family with this and did you get it right, John, or were you not paying attention? You know, so I was trying to fit with the feel and the vibe that I got from the map, and a little bit of my own experience, you know, having spent this very small amount of time in rural UK, to sort of find a combination. And then it was just about changing little things to augment rather than whoops, bit overturn there. Little things to augment rather than to fundamentally change the map. Yeah, we have my wife and I have a good working arrangement. She's the fine detail finisher person. I'm the big concept demolition course construction. You know, so when it comes to painting as a classic example, you know, she does all the cutting in around the edges and all of the timber work. I have the roller and I colour between the lines, so to speak. My fine motor skills just are crap, basically, and so I can never get the picture from my head perfectly translated if I've got to do all of the fine finishing work. It's why I got into computers in the first place. I was able to make a computer do what I asked it to do, which was different to my woodworking experience, where, you know, I couldn't cut straight for love nor money. Now, as I've bought better tools, I can compensate for my lack of skill. Right, that was quick and straightforward. You're clean enough. You can go back in the sheds. Looks like you're just about out of fuel. And before you crash into something trying to reverse the... You need a wash. BX. Wash you later. You need to pick up forage. Oops, apart from the fact that that's the wrong trailer, it appears to be stuck on something there. Yeah, my computer skills these days are fairly limited. I had too much time as an executive and, oops, a long way from the detail towards the end. PCs allow you to get back. That's, I think, one of the things I've really enjoyed about Farm Sim. It's a world I can throw myself into and get back to. You know, I never wrote code, for instance, professionally. led lots of teams that did. But I haven't written a program since they were in Scala or Fortran or Cobol or C. Yeah, we're going to get between the tree. Well, not quite what I had in mind, but that's all right if that triangle's the worst it does. Let's have a look here. Oh, I got to really enjoy it. I really loved I really enjoyed the boundary between technology and business, because it was so, for a long time, particularly in the early stages of my career, you know, technology was seen as kind of a black art, and really good technical people did pretty poor job of communicating, and management in many organizations did a lousy job of explaining what they wanted, and so there was a lot of middle ground for people that could talk both languages. And then I found that I really liked, I trained in project management. I was, if I may say, pretty good project manager, very good project manager. And so the projects were getting bigger and bigger and uglier and uglier. And I found, much to my surprise, that it was actually very unfulfilling. So working on the project was all involving, all encompassing, and very intense, but you get to the end and I just wasn't getting any sense of satisfaction, and the risks were getting higher and higher, and it just wasn't working for me. What I found was leading teams of people was completely the opposite. You know, the more people you worked with, the more opportunities you got to put them together on things, and I really enjoyed the coaching, and I do really enjoy the coaching, and being just a tiny part of helping a really talented person do something unexpected. So helping convince them that they can do something that they never realized they could do, unlocking that. And once you start doing that, you get to see people that you've just provided the smallest bit of encouragement or help, and they do amazing things every day, which is so rewarding to see. So personally, so that's why I spent the last half of my career leading people in teams, because it was just so much fun. The management and executive politics, on the other hand, you can keep that. Not so much fun. Anyway, a little like the person who can designs the interface. Yes. Yes, I used to have interesting discussions with some of my teams that worked in end user interface design. trying to explain that if the user can't use your application properly, it's actually you that's the problem, not them. Or if they're not using it how you intended, it's because you didn't do it right. So that's because the marketing folks got involved. Dear. Yes. I was at IBM. I remember it was a little graduate trainee project because cash machines were still pretty early, and when they were trying to sell new machines, we got sort of called out to the local lab facility where they had some new stuff in, and you had, you know, the project's work for a couple of hours was to make withdrawals from these brand new ATMs that had never hit the market yet. Very interesting. We had a usability lab. That was where I learned a lot of that stuff, and that's where you'd put equipment, software and documentation all together in one place, and bring people from field that were supposed to use this stuff in to work through it, see how it all worked together, iron out the wrinkles before you deployed it, all that sort of stuff. And you know, end user computing, as it was known, was really new, so there were all sorts of ways of testing and going about it. And so we had a special studio set up where you could shoot video, and you could put the designers behind a glass panel to watch proceedings. And typically they started out really smug and, you know, frequently making comments in the coffee break about, you know, how hopeless the users were, and, you know, can't they just read the instructions? But usually by about the second or third session on the first day, they suddenly realized that it wasn't them, that it wasn't the user that was being evaluated. It was them. And the fact that it wasn't working out real well was their problem. So that was a very interesting educational experience. There we go. So there's 100,000 almost. There we go. Pick you up, turn you up. Whoops, did I turn you on again? Probably tried. No. Turn you off again. What are we going to get? We're going to get probably 300,000 off here, I'd reckon. Maybe. So we'll be able to run another test in our other bunker before the corn gets ripe. I want to keep the corn separate because I want to understand a little more about yield from corn silage. Judged it to perfection. Probably should have put it on one side or the other rather than in the middle, but never mind. Well, there we go. We're at 10 o'clock. here in sunny downtown Melbourne. That's weird. How are you ready? How did you grow so fast? He shouldn't be ready to mow, I wouldn't have thought. That's at least a month earlier than I expected. Maybe I'm just losing my mind. These guys. Let's have a look at growth stages. We won't see the growth stages on the grass, of course, but we want that one and that one. Yeah, so still another, at least a month we can wait. I don't feel the need. Does anyone notice, is the corn yield different if you harvest it, forage harvest it before it hits the orange state? Does it make a difference on yield, or is it the same regardless of when you pull it off? Not that we'll be short of things to do. Oh, it just took another load up to... The truck got up there all on its own. Number 6 of 6 is good. No, 6 of 6 is good. Ah. Just before ready to harvest. Okay. Right. So when it gets to this green, so I can do one stage off, basically. What am I thinking about? What am I thinking about? Let's go. Correct. It's not bad on the whole field. So it might just be the edge. Oh no, it is bad on the whole field. We didn't have a way. We ran out of time, basically. And money at the point we were worrying about that. So yeah, yield is not going to be tremendous. But that's okay. We were dealing with other things. Now. It is 10 past, I think, because the windrowing's almost done. I think we're going to leave it here. And I will continue along. I will be back again on Monday evening my time, Monday morning UK and US for anybody's about, and we'll see. By then I would expect I will progress a little more, so I'll get the grass in here and I'll manually roll it and see if that makes a difference. Thanks, Mark. I've got to do one thing when I get off the stream, but if I get back to it quickly, I will indeed do that. Either way, I'll leave you a message with some information. So if we have a look in here, we'll find that we're at 75%. So by the end of this day, that'll be done. But until next time, thanks very much for watching. Great to have you in, and have a great weekend. See you, everyone.